Welcome to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. Listen and learn what the wealthiest Americans are doing with their money and time that's different from the middle class. Learn the roadmap to financial and personal success that includes family, fitness, romance, charity, and all the parts of a balanced life. Now, here's your host, real estate investor and mentor, Steve Davis.
Hello and welcome to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. I am your host, Steve Davis, where as always, we're here working hard to improve our financial IQ, our financial literacy, because high school and college do little, if anything. They really don't do anything to teach you about building wealth. They teach you how to get a job, and that's about it. It's up to us as individuals to go out there and learn the rules of gold, the rules of money, and I hope this show actually helps you do that. We're going to talk today about two things. One is the fact that, and this is arguable, but I strongly believe in this, that you're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most, excluding your family. You're the average of the 5 people. And you've got to be careful of who you're hanging out with. Then we're going to talk about 14 benefits of investing in real estate, the reasons that we chose real estate over all other vehicles. But let's start with this concept that Jim Rohn brought up. If you're not familiar with Jim Rohn is the father of self-help. He was the mentor to people like Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, and of course Tony Robbins. They got a lot of their material from Jim Rohn, and he made the comment that you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with most. And what I want to share with you is why I believe this is true and give you some evidence to it. You've heard of the phrase, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And some people think, it's because the rich are trying to hold down the poor, or that's an actual negative comment. But it's really not a negative comment. It has nothing to do with the rich holding down the poor. The rich are too busy driving their Ferraris to the golf club to worry about holding down the poor. They're enjoying their lives. They're not holding other people down. In fact, they actually are, in most cases, and I'd say the vast majority of cases, looking for ways to help and serve other people, because that's how you make money. You think deeply about it. Where does money come from? It comes from only one place, and that's other people. If you want more money in your pocket, it has to come out of someone else's pocket. And to deserve that, you've got to either add value to other people's lives or provide a service to other people that deserves them giving you their money. And these wealthy people understand that, so they're more open to helping and serving other people than, say, the poor middle class that don't really understand where money comes from. They don't understand that getting out there and helping serving other people is going to make them money. They are asking the question, what's in it for me, versus the question, how can I help? The wealthy always look for ways to help, and the poor middle class are always asking, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? And that just is not very effective, to say the least. So what we've got to understand first is that people are suffering. People are suffering. By age 65, after working 45 years, 95% of Americans fail to retire successfully. And sadly, 29% are dead by 65. And you got to ask, is this your fate? Is that where you're headed? If you're 40 plus and you're still not in the financial position that you want to be in, you got to think about that. If you're 40 plus, you've worked close to 20 years, or some of you more than that, and you're still not in the financial position that you want to be in after working for 20 years. And it would be silly to think that if you do the same thing for the next 20 years, that anything will change. Nothing's going to change. If you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting and nothing more. You've got to change what you're doing. And people have settled for living paycheck to paycheck or just barely above, and they become complacent for this reason. When they talk to their friends, everybody's doing the same thing. They're all living paycheck to paycheck because they're your friends. They make the same amount of money as you do. They've got the same habits as you do. They end up thinking that this way of living is normal and that there's nothing that they can do about it. You know, I make the joke all the time, but it's a real dangerous fact. Most of you hang out with your broke friends and talk about money. You talk about money with your broke friends. They don't know anything about money. They can't help you. But it's the only people that you hang out with. You don't have any millionaire friends. This led Henry David Thoreau to say, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Let me say that again. The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. That paycheck to paycheck, not knowing what to do to change their lives. That helplessness or hopeless feeling is what he's talking about. See, when you hang out with people who are in the same or worse financial position than you are, you get the impression that this is the norm. It is not. Millions of Americans are not just surviving, they are thriving. We've studied the other 5%. Remember, 95% fail to retire by age 65. 5% retire at 65 or earlier. We've studied the 5% and found out what they're doing differently. Almost all of them have second streams of income. Almost all of them. And 90% of them used real estate to build that income stream. So simply put, you must build a second stream of income, just like we're teaching people here at Total Wealth Academy. You've got to do it. You think about it. Do you have a expense problem? Do you have a tax problem? A lot of people would say, yeah, I got high expenses, I got high taxes. I got a warning for you. You do not have an expense problem. You do not have a tax problem. You got an income problem. You just don't make enough money. And what these people, the 5%, do is they go out and they buy income-producing assets like real estate that produces additional income for themselves and their families. They increase their income. That's really the secret, but it's not a secret because it's in thousands of books. All right, this is the Total Wealth Academy radio show. We'll talk more after the break. Thanks for listening. One of the fears associated with real estate investing is that you need a lot of money to get started. This is just not true. You can get started for as little as $0 down on single-family houses. You can even invest passively in apartments for as little as $25,000, and that can be from your IRA or 401k. Remember, 9 out of 10 millionaires use real estate to become so. You can do it too. Please attend our free sample class to learn more. Visit TotalWealthAcademy.com and click on the free sample class there. Thank you. Total Wealth Academy radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis, where we're talking about this concept that you're really the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. And the funny thing is, most people will say, oh, no, I'm the top dog in my group of friends. Almost everybody says that. But you got to understand, your 4 friends or 5 friends, they think they're the top dog in the group. See, everybody thinks they're the top dog in the group. You're not. You're the average. So is everybody else. You've got to understand that and make sure. Here's the solution. The solution is to make sure that you have 2 sets of friends, or at least that's the solution that I came up with, because I didn't want to give up my good friends and just hang out with multimillionaires and say, oh, you can only be my friend if you're a multimillionaire. So what I have is I have 2 groups of friends. I've got my broke friends, for lack of a better phrase. I got my broke friends, and I got my rich friends. And how did I accumulate rich friends? I joined real estate investor groups and started hanging out with rich people. It's that simple. See, you must hang out with people that are doing better than you if you hope to grow and prosper. You literally want to be the dumbest person in the room to be successful. You're not going to grow if you're the smartest person in the room. An example, I went to this mastermind group. It was like $20,000 a year, and they gave me a free event, just to test it out. And what happens is you have a group of about 10 millionaires, and they all sit around a table, and they throw out problems, and then the other 9 millionaires offer solutions to that problem. And there were probably about, 7 or 8 problems discussed. But the challenge for me was I knew the answer to all of the problems. In other words, I had experienced it, I had been through it, and I knew the answer to the problems. Should I join that group? The answer is no. See, if they'd have brought up problems that I didn't know the answer to, and then I learned the answer to while I was sitting there, then yes, I should have joined that group. But I felt like the smartest person in the room. I know I wasn't, but I felt that way because I knew the answer to all the problems. So that mastermind group appeared to offer me nothing, if that makes sense. There was no reason for me to join that group if I knew all the answers. I need to join a group where I don't know the answer. And you've got to be hanging out with successful people if you want to change your financial position. We had an event, I guess it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, called our Spotlight Night. And there were maybe 80 or 100 people. And one of the speakers asked, how many millionaires do we have in the room? I kid you not when I say that more than half of the members raised their hands. More than half. So if you were a member of Total Wealth Academy and you were in that room, you had a chance to start accumulating millionaire friends just by being in the room. And that made all the difference for me. When I started hanging out at real estate investor clubs, I began meeting millionaires, people with 20 houses, people with 50 houses, people with 123 houses, and I ended up being friends with them, and they helped me along the way. Most of them, a couple of them I paid, but most of them did it for free. This is a true statement. I'm 60 years old. I have never asked for help that I didn't get it. Never. Every time I asked for help throughout my entire life, I've gotten it. Now, I may have had to ask more than one person, but I've gotten it. People are out there willing to help you. And the wealthier they are, the more likely they are to actually help you. and I'm not putting down the poor middle class. How's a middle class person who's living paycheck to paycheck going to help you? They're not. They can't do it. So it seems like it's a dog-eat-dog world when you're down in that arena. But if you get out of that arena and you start hanging out with millionaires, people who own 20 houses, or they're in 4,000 apartment units, you start hanging out with people like that, you begin to become the average of the 5 new friends. So again, I keep 2 sets. I keep my broke friends, and then I have my millionaire friends. And I love and care about my broke friends just as much as I love and care about my millionaire friends, but I recognize the difference. And I realize that I'm only going to learn stuff if I'm the dumbest guy in the room, so I want to be around people where I'm the dumbest person in the room. Les Brown put it this way: if you hang out with 9 losers, soon you'll be the 10th. But the reverse holds true. Did you know that if you hang out with 9 millionaires, soon you'll be the 10th? It works. It works. Because they're living differently, they're doing things differently, and if you meet them, get them on your team, and start imitating them, you start getting the same results that they get. Being a member of TWA, Total Wealth Academy, allows you to do this. You'll meet people at every stage of the process here. Beginners, people halfway there, and multimillionaires. This will help you raise your expectations for life and give you resources for growth. I tell my students to try and meet at least 3 new people at every event they come to. And you build your second group of friends, people that are doing better than you and can lead and encourage you to do better. So, again, do you see why I agree with the principle that you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most? It holds true. I'm sure there's exceptions to it, but it holds true the vast, vast majority of the time. Vast majority of the time. So get out there, join a real estate investor group. Doesn't have to be Total Wealth Academy, but please give us an opportunity to earn your business. Go to our free sample class and check that out. You can check the free sample class out at TotalWealthAcademy.com. TotalWealthAcademy.com. Okay. All right. The next thing we're going to discuss are 14 benefits of investing in real estate. What advantages does real estate investing bring? Here are the 14 really most significant ones. The first one is it allows you to build a second stream of income, which you must have if you're ever going to retire. You got to have a second stream of income. The concept of saving your way to retirement is flawed. You literally, to have $10,000 a month in retirement, you literally have to save up $3 million. That's to have just $10,000 a month in retirement. Because remember, ladies live about 20 years in retirement. So to have $10,000 a month in retirement, you got to save that doggone $3 million, which is very difficult to do. If you look at the numbers, you would have to save $150,000 a year for 20 years. That would give you $3 million. Most people don't even make $150,000 a year. How are they going to save up $3 million? It's just not going to happen. The concept of building a second stream of income, let's say you have $600,000 and you get it all invested. You could start, investing with $50,000. Well, you can really start investing with $25,000 passive investing. But you double your money in a couple of years, you reinvest that money, double that, reinvest it, double that, reinvest it, and so on, until you get up to having about $600,000, $700,000 invested. And if you have $600,000 or $700,000 to invest, you can do this almost immediately. But that $600,000 to $700,000 is going to bring you $10,000 a month. Now, it's not going to come in every month. It might be $2,000 for 12 months in a row, and then a check for $50,000. But it's going to average about $10,000 a month. That's with $600,000, not $3 million. See, building wealth with passive income is much, much more effective than trying to save your way to retirement. Again, the concept of saving your way to retirement just doesn't work. The average person does not make enough money at their job to be able to save up $3 million to be able to retire. It just doesn't work. Most people, again, are living paycheck to paycheck. I think 78%. How are they going to save their way to retirement when they're living paycheck to paycheck? They can't. They've got to start buying income-producing assets like real estate and build a second stream of income. So the number one benefit of investing in real estate is that steady rental income and cash flow. The second reason we chose real estate over other investing vehicles was because of the appreciation that comes with it. It is an appreciating asset, so while you get your cash flow, and to me that's really a very important part, you're also making money through appreciation. And over the last, I think, since 1991, the average annual real estate appreciation is about 4.4%. And that fluctuates around the country, but the average is about 4.4%. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to understand that can be a rate of return on your down payment in excess of 20%. Because you don't compare your appreciation to the total sale price. You compare it to your total out of pocket. And that could give you a rate of return, even though it's 4.4%, but it's actually 20% to you. We'll talk more after the break here on the Total Wealth Academy radio show. Thanks for listening. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? You're not alone. 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Just having a job is no longer enough. What you need is a second stream of income, and that is what we teach at Total Wealth Academy. Our members and students are building a second stream of income by investing in single-family houses, apartments, self-storage, senior living, and more. Please attend our free sample class to learn more. Visit TotalWealthAcademy.com and click on the free sample class there. That's TotalWealthAcademy.com. Thank you. Welcome back to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. I am your host, Steve Davis, where we're talking about 14 benefits of investing in real estate compared to other vehicles. We talked about the first one, which is steady rental income and cash flow. To me, that's the number one. It's so powerful to have that second stream of income. And then 2, real estate appreciation. The fact that your real estate just continues to go up, 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 and up. Even with the ups and downs, the true graph of real estate is always up. It doubles in value every 20 years and has since 1776. So you're making money off of appreciation as well. The return on investment, number 3, it's got outstanding return on investment compared to stocks, mutual funds, gold, silver, crypto, and so on. When I do the case study of that little property that I bought on West Green in Houston, out in Katy, that deal had a rate of return of 260% the first year. I think that's right. 240 or 250%. Those rates of return are unheard of in the stock market, mutual funds, gold, silver, crypto, except in extremely rare cases. Extremely rare cases. And you have to be lucky. You have to have a lot of luck to happen to be in the right position at the right time in those speculative assets. Whereas with real estate, I've been able to do that type of deal every month, every year for 34 years with brutal consistency. So the return on investment of your real estate is always going to be dramatically higher than stocks, mutual funds, gold, silver, crypto. The next benefit is, number 4, is long-term financial stability and wealth. One of the main advantages of investing in real estate includes providing investors with long-term financial security. When you have a steady flow of cash for years on end, this leads to accumulating wealth as long as you save your additional income, or even better, reinvest it in more properties. Indeed, real estate has been one of the most popular ways of building generational wealth in the U.S., and home values continue to increase decade over decade, and this appreciation exceeds a single generation. So long-term financial stability and wealth is another benefit of real estate. Then, number 5, you've got the tax benefits. You've got to understand that real estate investors pay the lowest taxes of any for-profit group in the U.S. Any for-profit group. You look at Trump, why does he pay no taxes? Because of his real estate investments. And there's really two sides to this. There's a thing called depreciation that protects your cash flow. Let's say you make $200,000 this year in cash flow. Do you owe taxes on that $200,000? Yes. Are you going to pay it? No. You might have $160,000 in depreciation. So while you made $200,000, you get to depreciate that $160,000, subtract it from the $200,000, leaving you paying taxes on only $40,000. So what you want to think about is, what if you had 80% of your taxes back working for you and your family? Life would be different, wouldn't it? Remarkably different. So depreciation is the first major tax advantage of owning real estate. The next tax advantage is a thing called a 1031 exchange. A 1031 exchange. Let's say that you buy a 30-unit apartment, rehab it, get it all done, and 2 years later you sell it and make $2 million. Do you owe taxes on that $2 million? The answer is yes. Are you going to pay it? No. You get to go and buy a bigger apartment complex, and you can take that entire $2 million and put it in the new deal and pay no taxes on that $2 million. Zero. And some people will say, well, you're just deferring the taxes till you don't do a 1031 exchange or can't do a 1031 exchange. That's not really accurate, because if you're wise, you are going to hug your kids and teach them how to do 1031 exchanges as well. So literally, you don't pay any taxes your entire life, and then you hug your kids and teach them how to not pay taxes their entire life, and they need to take care of their kids and teach them how to do it as well. So those are the two biggest tax advantages of real estate, and they, again, allow you to keep 100% of your profit working for you and your family. So think about it. if you had 100% of your taxes back from the last 15, 20 years, what kind of financial position would you be in? It's quite different, isn't it? Quite different. The sixth reason real estate is so powerful is because it allows you to leverage your money very easily. Very easily. Leverage is a key to success. If you're not familiar with leverage, it just means when one small thing controls a huge thing, or a small amount of money controls a huge amount of money. Example, when we go out and we buy excuse me, a $200,000 house for $10,000 out of pocket, that's leverage. We only put $10,000 down, and we're controlling a $200,000 asset. So when that thing goes up 4.4%, or 8.8 or $8,800, 4.4 of $200,000. When it goes up $8,800, to determine your rate of return, you divide that by your down payment, which was $10,000, and that gives you a rate of return of 88%. 88%. Now, you got to think about this. What are you making on your money in the stock market? Are you making an 88% rate of return? Get some real estate. Get some real estate and start making these types of returns. So leverage, again, is a key to success, and you've really got to leverage three things. You've got to leverage your time, your money, and your knowledge. Real estate allows you to leverage your money in incredible ways, including zero down. I mean, I think we did 11 or 15 zero down deals in the last 45 days. They're rare, I get it, but there's quite a few of them out there right now because of the market. So if you do zero down and make $1, that's an infinite rate of return. Infinite. If you do zero down and you make $25,000, again, that's an infinite rate of return. It's unbelievable how leverage builds wealth. Okay. Seventh advantage is mortgages. And this really coincides with the previous, which is leverage. But because you can get mortgages on your homes, you can buy literally hundreds of homes. There's no limit to the number of homes that you can buy. It's just a matter of getting out there, getting with the right banks that understand real estate investing, not Chase, not Wells Fargo, not Bank of America. You got to get with an investor bank. We have 7 of them here at Total Wealth Academy that you can choose from. And they all work, some of them solely with investors. They work doing nothing but helping investors build wealth and a second stream of income. So being able to take a mortgage on your real estate is the seventh benefit to owning real estate. Number 8, equity accumulation. Another important one to add to the list is equity capture. Equity capture. The example I gave you with the little house in West Green, I paid $170,000 for it, and it appraised for $200,000. I paid $170,000. It appraised for $200,000. That's a $30,000 equity pickup. Equity pickup or equity capture. Now, I only had $20,000 in that deal. That's a 150% rate of return. 150% rate of return. So you got to ask yourself, where's your money now? Are you getting a 150% rate of return on it? Probably not. So equity accumulation is where your wealth comes from It is your wealth, and real estate allows you to do that like no other investment. Number 9, it's a hedge against inflation. The truth is, as things go up in value, your rents go up. When everything goes up expense-wise, when inflation hits, it hits houses too. So they go up in value while your expenses are going up in value. The rents go up. It's a hedge against inflation. Everything goes up, the rents, the value of your property, as everything else goes up. So it's a hedge against inflation. The 10th reason to choose real estate, or the benefit, is the passive strategy. And what this is, it's the misunderstanding that many people have that to be a real estate investor, they've got to go out and actually manage the property, deal with the tenants, the toilets, and the taxes. No, probably 70 to 80% of the deals that we do here at Total Wealth Academy are completely passive. In other words, our members they use their IRAs or 401ks or their cash. They use their IRAs and 401ks without tax or penalty, and they invest in these big apartment complexes, self-storage complexes, senior living complexes, strip shopping centers, hotels, and so on, completely passively. They put up their money, and they get a check every quarter, or some of them every month, and that's all they do. No tenants, no toilets, no taxes. Completely passive. And a lot of people's excuse for not investing in real estate is they think it consumes a bunch of time. Well, that's false. You can do passive investing, which takes little to none of your time. All right, we got to go to break. We'll talk more after the break here on the Total Wealth Academy radio show. Thanks for listening. Are you living paycheck to paycheck? You're not alone. 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Just having a job is no longer enough. What you need is a second stream of income, and that is what we teach at Total Wealth Academy. Our members and students are building a second stream of income by investing in single-family houses, apartments, self-storage, senior living, and more. Please attend our free sample class to learn more. Visit TotalWealthAcademy.com and click on the free sample class there. That's TotalWealthAcademy.com. Thank you. Welcome back to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. I'm your host, Steve Davis, and we're going through 14 benefits of real estate investing, or 14 reasons that we chose real estate over all other. And we're talking about passive, and then I got an email from an Eric. Eric, it doesn't understand how you can use your IRA and 401k to invest in real estate. Eric, you're not alone. I think only about 10% of Americans are aware of this, but yes, you can use your IRA or 401k to buy real estate in a passive format. You can't buy, your own single-family homes with it. But what you do is you take your retirement account and you roll it over into a self-directed retirement account. And there's no tax or penalty to do that. You roll it from a traditional IRA into a self-directed IRA, a traditional 401k to a self-directed 401k, and then you can actually invest passively in the big commercial deals that we're doing at Total Wealth Academy. And again, there is no tax or penalty. The simple answer, Eric, you roll it over to a self-directed IRA and you can invest in anything that you want. You can invest in a car wash, you can invest in a restaurant, you can invest in real estate, you can invest in anything you want. Just make sure you know what you're doing, like the members of Total Wealth Academy. All right, so that's number 10 was the passive strategy, the fact that you can invest in real estate and do absolutely zero work. The 11th benefit is that because it's a physical asset, real estate is a very low risk investment. With stocks and bonds, you can lose everything overnight if the market crashes or you choose your chosen companies drop. Plenty of stock investors have lost all their wealth in a matter of days. This cannot happen with real estate properties. The worst case scenario is that your property might get destroyed by weather or civil disobedience, but as long as you've insured it well, you can recover your losses. And such extreme calamities rarely occur. Usually investors can benefit from ongoing rental income and long-term appreciation year after year. But it's a real asset. You can touch it. You control it. It doesn't disappear on you. Whereas speculating in gold, silver, crypto, those other things, they can drop in value and you lose money instantly. When real estate drops in value, you don't care because you've got your rental income. And that rental income continues to come in. And in most cases, when prices of real estate drop, rental rates go up. They don't go down. They go up. Look at the recession in 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13. Rental rates went up, not down. Not down. The 12th benefit is portfolio growth and diversification. Now remember, if you know me, you know I hate diversification the way that everybody uses it. But I do like diversification inside my basket. And that would be having self-storage, having some apartments, having some strip shopping centers, having some investments in city centers. There's the diversification that I'm talking about. And real estate allows you to do that very, very easily, especially from a passive investor's point of view. 13, low barriers to entry. I mean, we're doing deals zero down. How many of you can afford to buy a house for zero down? Every one of you. Nobody. And how many of those can you buy? Infinite number, as long as you're lucky enough to find them. So the barriers to entry on real estate are much, much lower than stocks, mutual funds, things like that. We're able to get into deals for as little as zero down, pick up $30,000, $40,000 equity, pick up $300 or $400 a month in positive cash flow, literally for zero down. So it's the lowest barrier to entry of any investment. And number 14, you control your investment. That's a big, powerful thing. What I mean by that is, let's say that Apple does something stupid and their stock tanks. Can you go and correct that? You can't do a thing. Your stock just dropped by 40%. There is absolutely nothing you can do to change that. But let's say you've got a group of 20 or 30 rent houses and you're making $12,000 a month and 2 of them go vacant 1 month. You can solve it. You get out there, you release them, get new tenants in there, and you're back up to making $12,000 a month. That's the power. Another big benefit and the power behind real estate is that when things go wrong, you can change it. When things go wrong with speculation, gold, silver, crypto, and so on, there's nothing you can do about it. Doesn't matter how hard you work, doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter what your ideas are, you can't do anything about it. Whereas with real estate, your intelligence, your hard work makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Okay, so those are the 14 benefits of investing in real estate. Again, the number one for me is that steady rental income and cash flow. That's what makes the biggest difference when you look at the 95% of people who fail to retire and compare them to the 5% who successfully retire. That 5%, they've got steady income and cash flow. 90% of them used real estate to get that steady income and cash flow, and you should too. And if you want to learn how, just come to our free sample class and we'll teach you. go to TotalWealthAcademy.com, TotalWealthAcademy.com, and click on the free sample class there. TotalWealthAcademy.com, free sample class. And by the way, my email is open to you. I'm sorry I didn't give it out during today's show, but you can email me after the show. Any question that you have about building wealth for yourself and your family with real estate, it's steve@TotalWealthAcademy.com, steve@TotalWealthAcademy.com. And you can ask me anything. All right, thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your day.
You've been listening to the Total Wealth Academy radio show. Please remember that this show is for entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as legal, tax, or investing advice. Always get a professional opinion before making any investment decisions. To find out more about coaching and consulting at Total Wealth Academy, visit TotalWealthAcademy.com and attend one of our free sample classes on real estate investing. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.